Hello, we continue video. Today we're going to take a look at a team here that is based around a trap. The Snorlax here has not the usual moveset that you usually know from a Snorlax, which would be of course the superpower and the body slam. We have the Outrage and the body slam, and today we're going to take a look at how this can function. We have a lead here that is our own Togekiss, which would be able to beat all those dragon types, and then we have our say swap of the Snorlax. And Snorlax, of course, will be able now to also hit those dragon types with super effective damage thanks to the Outrage on this Pokemon. And in the back we're going to have the Excadrill. Excadrill's main role here is to try to counter the Pokemon that the lead doesn't want to face, like here example the Togekiss. Something like Steel types would be very good for you to deal with the mole Excadrill here, but yeah, in general, this team is pretty decent. We have a horrible lead here with the Everluck. We're going to go into our Snorlax and we're going to face a Gyarados here. Everluck is actually a core breaker for the entire team because it beats both the lead and the Pokemon in the back. Ice Fang is just too strong over a long period of time. We can go ahead and go for some more body slams with our Snorlax here, of course, against the Gyarados, but we're actually going to go ahead and try out the Outrage. Do they expect it? No, they don't, and we can realign here, which means we don't have to use the Togekiss against the Everluck, which is good for us, but still, you're going to see how much damage this fast move going to do here, but my opponent decides to surrender already. I have no idea why. I think they actually still had a chance unless they had a Dragonite in the back, which is, I guess, most likely the case here. So that's kind of wild. But here's one issue with this team. I'm pretty sure, like, if I would have run a fighter in the back, like either Machamp or the Conkeldurr, or even the Heracross, it would have been a better team than compared to the Excadrill in the back. Because the amount of time you get, like, Excadrill as a say swap against you is kind of ridiculous. So you're going to see this a lot of times. And you don't really want to see it a lot of times. And you don't really have the best answer for it. As you don't have superpower in your Snorlax anymore, you don't really threaten it too much, and it's a little bit tricky to play around it. Here we're going to be able to actually realign, I think, thanks to our Snorlax, but we have to give up more shields, of course, and we will be able to even go for another body slam against this Dragonite, as we have to hope that our Pokemon in the back can deal with whatever they had in the back, and we just were lucky and had an entire hard counter team to my opponent here. With the Excadrill now against the Magnezone, I will be able to farm them all the way down, and there should be nothing that they can do now, as we can just go for 2 Rock Slides, and even a Hurricane wouldn't KO our Togekiss from this range, so we should be pretty easily safe to win this game here, as we see that the Rock Slide comes through. And we will see that we win the game. Next opponent, we're going to see Togekiss and its Excadrill here. Excadrill lead, of course, is one of the worst possible, as you don't really have a good answer for this. Again, here I think a fighting type might be a little bit better for this team instead of like what I'm using here. We see a Gyarados coming in here, which is fine for us. We can go for some body slams. There are a shadow version, which is kind of crazy, and we should be able to get even a shield here, which is going to be nice, as we're going to keep the shield as well. And we're going to let this move go through, go into our Togekiss, farm this thing down. I think it was Dragon Tail. Yeah, it was Dragon Tail. So I'm going to be able to now farm him all the way down, resist the fast move. Awkward Tail still, of course, does some pretty decent damage, but we can swap immediately. And we see an Everluck coming in here. And you see how much damage Everluck can do against an Excadrill. It's kind of insane, to be honest. And even can tank those moves pretty easily. So it's going to be a tough one to still win this one. We can go for another Rock Slide. We will be able to get the final shield. I'm actually going to let this move go through here, going to be a body slam, and I actually should have maybe shielded this one because I would have got to another move, but I just think that my Togekiss is going to win this. As we see the opponent's Excadrill coming in here, we can go for one Flamethrower, and now it's just going to be a fast move beatdown. Who can win this? The Ice type or the Fairy type? And it's going to be the Fairy type, which is very nice. I think there was a 1 HP kill there, which was pretty nice there for us. As we see a Gyarados in the lead. If they have Waterfall, it's kind of awkward, and they do have Waterfall, which is kind of awkward. And we're going to swap onto the charge move into our Snorlax here. Going to be a Crunch actually, and they of course debuff our defenses immediately, as we've seen Sylveon coming in here. Sylveon is a little bit interesting. They might have like double Fairy in the back, double Charm in the back. This would be a little bit tricky to deal with this team. Let's see what we can do here. We can go for one more body slam. We can get this thing pretty low, and we cannot get to another one, which is a little bit of an issue. We're going to shield up this Moonblast, as Moonblast would do a ton of damage, and I'm going to try to farm it all the way down, but I'm pretty sure I cannot do this, so I have to throw my charge move here, and I have to KO my opponent, and I will still have the advantage in terms of moves that I have as they go back into their Gyarados. We can go ahead and go for one Rock Slide, get the shield back, and we will be able to swap out into our own Togekiss. Else we're most likely going to get greeted here by another Togekiss. Exactly, and there is not a lot that we can do here. We're going to lose this game here, as there is nothing that our Excadrill can do at this point of time. And we just gonna go down here, because yeah, the charm damage is just too strong, especially if you have to consider that they also still have a water type in the back. There's literally nothing that I can do here to win this game. I go for one more Rock Slide, but they still have a shield left, so I'm going to go down here anyway. Next opponent, we're going to see a Togekiss against a Dragonite. Very good lead for us. Of course, it's like RPS this cup anyway. We see a Snorlax swapping in, which is kind of cool, as we can just stay in here. And we should be able to do some nice pressuring here with our charm. We are tanking one move and we can go into our own Snorlax now. Main reason for this, of course, is we don't have superpower, so we need to rely on them getting some debuffs here and them being lower for us, so we can do some more damage with our body slams, and we should be able to maybe knock them out already. They're double debuffed here right now. I can go for one body slam here and it will put them into a range where I can farm them down. And you see it maybe already, we get a dragon into us and we're going to be able to go for one Outrage, doing a ton of damage, but this is the issue with this Pokemon. If you don't run the Shadow version of the Snorlax, Outrage, I think, just doesn't get the damage. Like, it just doesn't do the damage that you really need to have to KO Pokemon with this thing. So, this is the issue with this, and I don't have a good Shadow Snorlax, so even though we run the Outrage, even though it's a cool trap, and even though we're most likely going to get out all the Dragon types with this Pokemon, you're not going to be able to actually KO them with that. I think in the two-shield scenario, we might be still fine against the Dragonite, but like this, it's a little bit tricky, to be honest. As we see the next opponent going to have a Garchomp in the lead. Of course, amazing for us, as we see our Florges coming in. We can actually now go into our... why did I not go into my Steel type, actually? I'm not sure about this. I'm actually not sure why I did go into my Snorlax instead of my Steel type. I have no idea, to be honest. I think I thought that I can just farm him down now after one body slam and go for one Outrage against the incoming dragon, but I literally have no idea what I did here. Like, it doesn't make sense what I did here, to be honest, and like, I have to see that here for myself right now. So we're going to see the Garchomp coming back in. We of course can only go for one body slam here, as we don't have enough health. And let's see what they have in the back. They have an Excadrill in the back. I'm pretty sure I would have been way better off if I just went into my Excadrill against the Florges. Like, I have no idea what I was doing here, but definitely not the right decisions I was doing there. So, something to learn of. That was definitely not how you're supposed to play it. And like this, it's going to be a little bit tough to still win this game. They're going to KO us here. They are shieldless, so I might be able to still go for one Flamethrower here as we're getting closer and closer to it. They're going to be able to throw it now, and it's going to still do a lot of damage, the Rock Slide here, and we can go for one Flamethrower. This Flamethrower will do enough to KO them, and we will be able to see the Garchomp coming in. Can we actually still win this? Charm damage is chunking up. They are going for one Sand Tomb here. We will be able to survive it, and we will be able to draw the game here, which is kind of insane. As we go into the next game, we're going to have a Dragonite in the lead again. Dragonite in the lead, fine for us. We see a Snorlax coming in. Again, we have to get some damage on this Pokemon. Staying in with the elite is always, like, it's not always, but like a lot of times a very decent decision here. If you know that you can kind of counter them in the back. For example, now they are debuffed and they already are most likely now double debuffed. No, they're actually going to go for the body slam here. And I can just go ahead, go for one big Outrage. Let's see how much it's going to do. It nearly does enough, but just nearly. So we're going to be able to now lick them down. And we should be able to KO them with that, yep. So again, Outrage came in clutch. We only get to one move here with our Snorlax. And we will be able to go for the body slam here, as we can now align our Fairy type against it. But I actually went to my Excadrill because I expected them to have another Excadrill in the back. Because it's basically how most teams are functioning. There is not a lot of creativity here. But like this, we should be pretty fine, to be honest, as we can go ahead and go for more drill runs. I think I'm one turn ahead, or like one move ahead. So I should be able to go for 2 drill runs in time, which are going to KO the opponent's Excadrill, and we should be able to still then win this game here. And it's only because I went to do the basically quote-unquote wrong Pokemon first. If they stayed in there, they would have been way better off than what they did there, but it was to expect that they have an Excadrill in the back, so that's why I swapped out of there into my Excadrill instead of my Togekiss. We see a Togekiss coming in though, and we can go for some Rock Slides here. Rock Slide's going to do some nice damage again. Doesn't KO it, which is really a bummer because needing 2 Rock Slides against this Pokemon is kind of awkward, as they're actually going to let this move go through. I thought they might shield this, but they don't want to. And we will be able to go for 1 drill run still against the incoming Machamp. Machamp is actually purified here. Let's hope that they don't get hit by a return. Would be funny though. And we can now align the Snorlax against the Metagross. And of course, as we don't have superpower, we have to rely on the Body Slam. Fun fact, Body Slam is actually still more energy efficient than the Outrage, even though Outrage needs like 60 energy or something. And I think it's even 65? I don't know. I think it's 65. And the Body Slam only needs 35, so it's kind of crazy. Just because of the step, it's just a little bit better in the neutral scenario, even though one just takes ages. We will be able to even win this with a 2-shield flex, which is the best thing anyway. So we go into the next game here and getting hard-walled from my opponent. We see the Excadrill coming in there, as we will be able to take this move. But usually they just throw ones, swap out and win the matchup, which is something that is very smart to do. But of course, we have the Outrage here. Let's see if they know about this. And they don't know about it, which means we're going to be able to let this move go through actually, and they go for 1 Dragon Claw, which doesn't KO me. I sadly don't get to another move, but I can go into my Togekiss here, which will be easily able to charm down the opponent. We see them swapping into most likely the Pokemon they're just in, yep, the Excadrill. And now we're in still a tough spot. They have more energy than us, and we have equal shields, which means we will lose this mirror match up here pretty easily, but we might get them low enough that we can do some damage with our Togekiss later on, as Togekiss would be able to, of course, do some damage with the Flamethrower against those steel types, but it's going to be a tough one. We see that they're going to go and shield there, they're going to KO us here. And we can only hope that our Togekiss can do something here, but I'm not sure about this. We actually will not be able to go for 1 Flamethrower here because our fast move damage already does too much damage against the opponent. But yeah, having a Snorlax in the back doesn't really help it too much. Also, what doesn't really help it too much is a Mamoswine. Mamoswine is actually pretty decent when my opponent played it. Always when I played it's kind of underwhelming, so kind of an awkward Pokemon here as we see them going into a 1 Gyarados. Gyarados will do some nice damage with their fast move here, but it doesn't really matter. We can go for some body slams, but we are of course already a little bit lower from the previous matchup, as we're going to go ahead and let this move go through. I'm pretty sure I get still to another move here, hopefully. Yes, I will. And they're most likely going to shield this because they really want to realign, so actually they're not, and they are super lucky because they survive on literally 1 HP. And now we are in a tough spot. We can go for a drill run against this incoming Mamoswine here. Mamoswine is basically the same count for the Avalanche as, for example, a Venusaur for a Frenzy Plant, so it's 665. I know about this, and I will be able to throw my charge move in time here. And I also will be able to shield up their moves, which is going to be very nice, as well as we will see that they are swapping out. I expect them to have a Metagross in the back, and we can go for 1 more drill run here, trying to KO this thing, but we're actually going to get them low. We have 1 move stored, so we're going to go into our Fairy type. They will be able to nearly KO us, and they will get like 1 farm there, but it doesn't really help as we have already the drill run here, which will knock out the opponent, and we will go into the final game here. Next opponent going to have the Togekiss against the Magnezone. Magnezone, tough spot here, but of course we have definitely the super power on our Snorlax. There's no Outrage whatsoever here, as we see the Gyarados coming in, which definitely doesn't like my Body Slams. Body Slam will do some chunky damage here and will do even more for the second one here. And we already get this thing low, which is kind of nice for my team. I don't really like to face it with either of my Pokemon because it has the Water type fast move. But we can go into our Togekiss now and farm them all the way down, while they still get to another charge move here, which is not ideal. But it is fine, as we're gonna go immediately into our Excadrill here. We know already that we hardwall the first Pokemon. Now we see the last Pokemon coming in here, which is going to be a Snorlax. And Snorlax is very thick, but like it's pretty slow. Like it's slower than our Pokemon here, so we should be fine. And we are just shielding just in case. I'm pretty sure I would be able to also just let one move go through, and I don't think they would hit me immediately with one superpower there, but who knows? So I'm going to shield up another one here. There's Body Slam coming through, doing some nice damage. We can go for a drill run again. And they are going to go ahead and shield this final one as well. We see the Magnezone coming in here now. And we're actually going to be able to reach the Flamethrower because they overfarmed. And this will seal the deal. This is going to be a good game. And also going to be it for the video. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Have a great rest every day. Bye.